This is the Four Principles, Season 1, Chapter 6. In this episode, we will be discussing the concept of continuity as it pertains to the paths of history. Continuity is the quality of our intentional actions following the path of our thoughts. As we have discussed previously, substitution events are where negation precedes acquiescence. Reverse substitution events are where acquiescence precedes negation. If you look at the spatial action of any person, their actions tend to be reactive to discomfort, exhibiting postural releases in the reverse substitution event type. Or they can be active, where they are thought out and pre-planned, such that they follow the pattern of substitution events, where negation precedes acquiescence. Substitution events can break continuity by representing a departure from one's intentional plan, or they can preserve continuity by representing a path consistent with that plan. Substitution events, which break continuity, cause nonlinear intersections with other spatially connected system members. Reverse substitution events, which are tautological, either preserve an existing continuity, or they reform it according to the broken continuity caused by nonlinear intersections. In this formulation, substitution events establish what is ostensibly a new past, while reverse substitution events consolidate an old past. Why is this? Because tautological flow sees all participating consciousnesses flow through the subject further to the postural release. That is, every system member executes that motion simultaneously for the subject. Thus, there is a symbiotic relationship between substitution events and reverse substitution events. Each play a role in formulating what present becomes the past. Let me give you an example. Suppose, for example, you are writing something on a computer to publish to the internet. This particular formulation takes a formal structured form. You delay gratification to focus and concentrate on completing this task. This is a substitution event, which produces nonlinear intersections with all other system members. But having completed this task, you relax, exhibiting a postural release. That is, acquiescence is followed by negation. You shift position, or you go for a smoke, and relax. This is a reverse substitution event. You return to your computer and find an error in the text, which you reviewed 5 times before saving. How did this happen? From this we can see the following. The initial substitution event caused nonlinear intersections, which established a past corresponding to the appropriately formatted and structured document. That is, they broke continuity with respect to one past, the unfavored past, and replaced it with a new past, following your writing of the document. But then, after saving it, you went for a smoke, you exhibited a postural release. This reverse substitution event sees the flow of consciousness through your vessel during the act of execution. And this flow through consolidates the past along the lines of the existing continuity. That is, there is an error in your work, reflective of so many minds executing the action to draft it in your vessel at the same time as you. So what determines which present becomes the past? What determines which continuity is established by the flow of consciousnesses through your vessel? The rate of continuity breaking establishes the mutation rate by governing which present becomes the past. But existing priority establishes the substitution rate, that is, the rate at which mutations become permanent due to surviving selection. Where does selection happen? It happens in nonlinearity. It happens according to hierarchical and tautological priority in the flowing of consciousness from vessel to vessel. Returning to our example. If, for example, you aren't in fact the trendsetter in the tautological flow, then the impulse which you sublimated to produce the artifact of sublimation won't be the impulse which is passed to the next consciousness to implement within their own vessel. Nor will be it the impulse which returns to you at the conclusion of the tautological cycle. Thus, the dialectical degeneration is a product of both hierarchical priority producing nonlinear intersections, but also tautological priority flowing through reverse substitution events. In other words, the past is continually shifting due to nonlinear intersections altering its transcription in the present. This takes place largely during substitution events and reverse substitution events, especially during postural releases following sublimation. Furthermore, existing priority is established through preferential expectation matching within structures, hierarchically, or in proximity to some end goal in the tautological flow. That is, the fact that an error was ascribed to you by the tautological flow is reflective of someone being higher in priority through preferential expectation matching, or in proximity to some end goal. Finally, we can observe that the selection process governs the attribution of traits to social participants, such that consolidation follows existing phenotypic trait assignment. That is, the mutation we see caused by breaking continuity is a real mutation reflected in the phenotypic synchronicity of the subject and other participants. If selection discards that mutation, that is, the past is consolidated according to hierarchical priority, then the status quo is maintained. In other words, the progression of the present into the past is weighted according to priority. Those who have higher priority have more control over what present becomes the past within the simulation as a whole. That's the end of the podcast for today.